crazy episode today. We're at Billy Bob's in Texas. Check out this bar, bro. It's not open right now, but this is the biggest bar in America. It fits 5,000 people. They sell like 15,000 drinks a night. Happy Dad is actually available here, so shout out to Billy Bob's because they're just showing Happy Dad so much love. We love it. Who's calling me? Classic Menery, bro. Late. Where are you? You're late.
How far away were we, sir? 21 minutes.
Oh my God, you're late 2 episodes in a row, bro.
It's like perfect for the episode. I do shit on purpose to make sure like good for the episode. This is perfect.
You're gonna miss Dr. Phil on the helicopter.
It's almost better. It's like, well, Bob should be here, but I don't know where he is. You know?
Yeah, you're just manipulating the audience, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, I'll see you soon. I gotta go. Got this episode to run. Idiot. But yeah, also before we get into the pod, Prize Picks. If you guys have not tried it, it's by far my favorite app to fire on sports. Instead of choosing teams, you're choosing individual players. So each player has a set projection and you either go more or less than that set projection. So if you know what players are gonna perform on what nights, trust me, Prize Picks is the app for you. March Madness is still firing, boys. Baseball's back, playoffs are coming up. If you guys wanna try a new app, try something new than just like straight firing, try out Prize Picks. Trust me, I personally love it. All my friends have been blowing me up about it. We got you guys on a code too. Code NELK is gonna get you a 100% deposit bonus. So put in $100, they're gonna match that $100 with the code NELK. And yeah, we got Dr. Phil pulling up. So yeah, try out Prize Picks, use code NELK. We got Dr. Phil pulling up. I think he's coming right now. Yo,
Hey,
is he here?
We're gonna go there to the landing zone.
All right, he's pulling up on a helicopter. Steiny and Bob are both late for Dr. Phil. What else is seriously new, right?
I know, bro.
This is the type of that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. Just so you guys know. Yo, you're landing at 12:10. He said, yeah. I said, that's a bit late, don't you think? He said, I thought the pod was at 1. I'm like, yeah, it's 30 minutes from the airport. I think that's a bit tight, to be honest, for a massive episode. I even warned him, Brad, eh?
I mean, I was here. I was here on time, so it's actually an insane
Dr.
bar.
Phil's, I don't know, I guess he's trying to flex on us a little bit. He's flying in on a helicopter. Even Trump didn't do that, or Elon.
He's upping it. He's upping it.
Yeah.
They do. It's time definitely changing. They putting makeup on and shit.
He's doing his hair 100%. Steiny, hurry up! It's very specific sizes. Otherwise, we would have grabbed your hats.
My cowboy hat. I'm not part of your 2 gay cowboys. I'm good. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yo, run!
I was on the phone with my agent. Hey guys, big new Tom Cruise movie. Big new Tom Cruise movie.
You are in trouble.
What the is that?
That's crazy. Official?
Don't worry, buddy. I got a bone to pick with you though on the show.
That's fine. That's fine. Just make sure the bone don't pick with all of us.
Wait, where's the Harry Potter costume?
The Harry Potter costume.
I knew you wouldn't bring it, luckily. Steiny brought one from LA. And since you're not wearing Potter, you're gonna be wearing Dumbledore this time.
Oh, my favorite!
Oh, he's pulling a pole right here.
Chopper's kind of dust or what?
Oh, that's nice.
Is it? Wrong location.
Wrong place!
Oh, hey, come on, get in here.
Wrong place, Dr. Phil!
Hey, let's go.
I'm gonna fight Dr. Phil.
I think you should fight him.
He got me out of bed.
It's really hard to take you serious with that thing on, I'm not gonna lie.
Good sir, we got a lot of questions. I hope you have somebody with answers.
So we have you,
All right, Kyle.
I lost a prop bet, so I got to wear this. So
Yeah?
sorry. Apologize.
Well, it must have been a big bet.
Yeah, it was all right.
You always pull up like this?
It's the only way to go, right?
He's a boss. Come on, Dr. Phil.
All right, we got a lot to cover. Yeah, we got to head over there.
So the bet was, we had a bit of a disagreement back in the day. We could get into that too later, but
I sued them.
he was on the show. He left. He tried suing us.
Tried suing us, but
Tried
go
suing
ahead.
us. Didn't work. Spent a bunch of money. But either way, we came to an agreement.
His
Back on the
little
show.
daddy Dana White called me up and asked for a favor, so I let it go.
So I let him come back on for 6 episodes, and by the end of the 6th episode, his promise was he has to get Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, which was like kind of like a dream guest of ours. You are as well, so thank you for being here. But until he gets him, he has to wear a different character from Harry Potter every episode. So today's Albus Dumbledore.
Oh, well, he was at the house last night. I should have brought him.
Who was?
Radcliffe.
Are you out of your mind? Are you serious?
No.
You can't f with me like that, dog. You can't f with me. I'm serious. This is a real thing. This is my life depends on it.
No, but this is awesome to have you here, man. I mean, when we heard that you were coming on the show, we all got really excited.
Yeah.
We all took early flights to be here today, so
Yeah.
we're pumped to have you here. I know you got a bunch of stuff going on too, right?
Well, I do, but nothing more important than being here with you guys.
100%.
Have you ever had somebody ask you something that you just you didn't have advice for? You got stumped?
It happens daily.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like you don't know the answer to how to help them?
Yeah.
Bob, why don't you ask him something?
Go ahead.
No, well, first of all, I think that you're one of my favorite people that I've ever watched in my life.
Thank you.
Like I remember my mother always used to watch you. I mean, every second of every day. So, and I was not late today, and they give me because I party too much sometimes, but so does he. He parties all the time.
You were there with him.
I wasn't. He just goes out.
Wait,
too
but
much.
Doc, is that such a bad thing?
Well, it seems to be working for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you look to be healthy and happy.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because I got out of this really bad relationship. This girl, there was this girl who, unfortunately cheated on me several times. I didn't know the number is so high, and it keeps growing by the day. So I was really traumatized over it, right? I was really f***ed over it, and I was like, how can I get over this? Because I went to a dark place. And then what I felt was the best way to get out of it is to just run through as many women as I could in the most respectful way. What?
I don't think we came here to do therapy for you, personally.
I got one chance to sit down with Dr. Phil. You don't think I'm going to ask him this?
No, I know, but we're here to talk to Dr. Phil about what he's working on, what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. All right, go ahead.
You know? Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you tell us about Merit Street Media?
Well, I was kind of getting into the story.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right,
Dr. Phil.
fair,
Someone's
fair.
on my side.
Fair, okay.
So what I want to know is I'm serious. It's a real thing. So the best way for a guy, if you had a girl that you loved, you cared about.
Sit up normally. Why are you sitting like this?
A girl that you loved, you cared about so much, and she f***ed you over. How do you recover from that if you can't get out of your head? It's in your head every day.
How'd you pick her?
I met her. I thought she was normal. I met her at a bar randomly.
Well, there you go.
And she seemed normal. She seemed like she was a good girl. And then I'm just asking you this: is it okay to sleep around after that a traumatic thing like that happens?
Yeah, that's not going to fix it.
Really?
No.
Okay.
What do you think will fix it? How do you think he can get it out of his head?
Well,
Because his problem too, he's not telling you the rest of the story is he also still involves himself with this person.
I slept with her 2 nights ago too. So that's like you can't go back to your exes.
No.
Especially after she's done all that damage to you.
And then you blast her on social media.
We don't need to talk about that. That was my assistant. He takes over my account between 1 in the morning and 8 in the morning.
Oh, so it's whenever it's what?
so you were hacked?
I was hacked.
Yeah.
My account was
Yeah, I
hacked.
believe
Dr.
you.
Phil.
You've heard that one before, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just didn't know if you had any advice.
Yeah, my advice is once you're out, stay out.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in your rearview mirror. That's the reason rearview mirrors are that big and windshields are that big. Look ahead, man.
Okay.
Leave her in your rearview. Move on.
Okay.
This is also a reoccurring issue.
And Steiny also, I think, had sex with her, and he's not telling me.
Yeah.
So what's your passion project right now that you're working on?
Yeah, I am launching a new network.
Wow.
I mean, it's not at the level that you're dealing with, but with her, but it is 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you are into there.
I'm taking this costume off
Yeah.
now. I'm rocking my.
Just leave that. That's fine. That's a good. Yeah, that's good. Or here, throw on the cowboy hat.
Wear
From
this.
Texas, right?
I got a little more of a serious question
All right.
about your.
Brad,
about
take
your
this
company.
over. Make this serious.
I got this. I'm sorry, guys. So, I got this for real. So, social media, right? You've seen it change and evolve over the years because you've been, on the network cable side of things, and now you're on the social media side of things. How do you see yourself, obviously, having great success like you've had on network media and in the social space? And how is it different? Do you have a team that helps you? Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There are people that do the technical parts of it, not the content parts of it.
Yeah.
If something gets said, I need to say it, but I'm not good at hitting the buttons
Right.
and all that kind of stuff. But I think people get their information differently now than they did. You guys grew up with this, right?
Yep.
What year were you born?
94.
89.
Yeah. So.
I have a blend of both for sure.
Yeah.
And so does he. Yeah.
Yeah, but I started my show. The first year of Dr. Phil was 2002.
Yeah.
At that point, there weren't any social media platforms. They didn't even exist.
Yeah.
So when I started, I was dealing with people that had real world issues. There wasn't anything like cyberbullying. Those two words were never used together. There was no such thing. There weren't any online predators. You didn't have to worry about somebody talking your 14-year-old daughter out her window thinking she was talking to a 14-year-old guy that was going to meet her downtown, and it turns out to be a 45-year-old pedophile or something. You didn't have to worry about that. But then about 08, 09, everything changed because that's when the smartphones dropped. And all of a sudden, social media platforms got prolific. It started out with MySpace. You remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was, bands were real big on MySpace and stuff. That didn't last very long, but it changed the world. I mean, it changed everything. And technology's good. I love technology, but it's got a lot of unintended negative consequences.
So what's the goal of the new network?
The goal of the new network is to communicate with people every way we possibly can about common sense, core values that I think are really important for people to be healthy and happy. When, like, those smartphones dropped, the next year were the highest levels of anxiety, depression, and loneliness among young people ever recorded.
Really, that's a fact?
That's a fact.
In what, 2009?
2009 and 2010, highest levels. And it just kept getting worse since then. And it's terrible now. And then when COVID hit, it really spiked.
You think there's any way to turn it into more of a positive look on social media?
Oh, there are positives to social media.
Yeah, stay away from your page. That's it.
No, there are positives to it. For sure there are positives to it. But the average person checks their phone 352 times a day.
Yeah.
That's
What's your screen time?
I have no idea.
Because you can find out now. You can look on your phone. If you guys all look on
Yeah.
your phone, you can find out the screen time.
But it's less on the phone than it is on the iPad because I do a lot of stuff on the iPad.
You ever play
You
any?
seem like a big iPad kind of guy.
Yeah.
So does it seem like the only solution for the negativity is to just spend less time on your phone?
Well, negativity that's associated with social media platforms and cell phones. They asked people. They did a survey not long ago. They asked a bunch of college kids, "What would we have to pay you a week to get off your devices?" And it was like, I don't know, it was less than I thought. It was like $50 a month or something, $50 a week, I think it was. And they said, "What if we got everybody else off of them, where nobody was on it?" They said, "We'd pay you." Survey said, "We'd pay you." The only reason they're on it is just FOMO. They're scared to death they're going to miss something.
So what do you think is causing the negativity with the social media? Just is because you could see everyone else's life in a way that's not necessarily true, or people are constantly looking...
compare themselves to all these influencers' lives that
fake
they're putting
reality,
up,
right?
but they're not real.
Yeah.
And so
Mine's
they
real,
compare
Doc.
their reality
Mine's
with
real.
other people's social mask, and by comparison, they lose every time. But of course you are.
Yeah.
It's like comparing yourself to somebody on a billboard. They don't really look like that.
I think the other problem too is like now social media it's a way to make relationships and like you wouldn't get laid if it wasn't for social media.
Oh my God.
So
Or you?
I have so
probably
much.
all of us.
I have so much.
of us. Wait a minute.
Well, we're doing better. We're doing better.
You know what they do? Their lives are they run around with these.
Hey,
little-
hold on.
You do too. Because I can't. I like to live a normal life, Dr. Phil. I
No,
live a
you
normal
don't. You
life.
live the most unnormal life.
Incorrect.
You don't even live
You know what you
anywhere.
guys do? When I started working with
You
them,
live in hotels.
But I live in a beautiful place in Las
You
Vegas.
don't have a
by the way.
house.
Las Vegas.
How is that normal?
It's beautiful.
That's not
there.
your house.
I forgot my point now. Oh yeah, when I started working with them, everything was good. No anxiety. I had no social media that I was
That is
using.
insane.
And then
he's
every time I
lying.
open up, if I open up a cabinet,
I
there's a camera there. It's like
Bob,
I gotta tell you a story.
Don't you guys understand what
guy's
real
so
life is?
delusional.
You should step away from the cameras and have them like when they follow you and everything.
Dude, you're the guy
Bob,
who
you
narrates-
film everything you do.
No, I don't. My
Yes, you
thing
do.
takes 2 seconds.
Brad,
I
am
go
I
like
right?
this.
Or
Yes, bro. You film everything in your story like in
I
real time.
don't have a camera.
Dude, I was on
following.
FaceTime with this guy the other day at
I'm
like
taking off
6
Dumbledore.
in the morning. I look and it's on his story. Like he screenshots it and posts it right away.
He's kind of the epitome of that guy.
What about TikTok? You use TikTok? Does Dr. Phil use TikTok?
I have some things on TikTok.
We got to go back to your anxiety.
Are they gonna ban TikTok or no?
No, I don't think so.
They're not.
I think they just want someone
They'll-
to buy it.
they'll
They want
sell
US
it.
I
company
don't
to
think
buy it.
so.
Are they okay?
It's just to
What's
control
your
the data.
advice though to young people? Because obviously, like what we do, we use social media. Everyone's going to use it. What is kind of the answer to that problem?
Well, it's not using it that's the problem. It's abusing it. The problem is young people quit living their lives. They date later. They start having sex later. They get their driver's license later. Their development is arrested because they're not living their real lives. They don't develop socially. so much of things that are normal development, healthy development skills, interactive skills, real world skills get pushed off the schedule because they spend so much time on social media. So they don't have the social skills that they would have if they weren't on that. They would go out in the yard. They would touch the grass. They would talk to the neighbor next door. They would play softball, baseball, team sports, interact with people.
Yeah.
And if you add up all the hours they spend on the screen and you took half of those and made them where they were interacting with their friends out doing something, it would change the whole world.
So how can you make social media a positive thing then? Because we can't get away from it now at this point.
No, it's going to get worse with AI.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. Isn't that just a technology issue? Like even the Apple Vision Pro, that's only V1. Like if we compare that to like the first smartphone, like imagine when that's on like V15. Like what is the Apple Vision Pro going to
Like, how do we
be?
make
Like,
it
Well,
better then?
I also think
probably
it's
like a
I
contact
think it's a
lens in
thing
your
where
eye.
it's like too, if you have an anxiety or even a fear to approach somebody in person, doing it by your phone, that kind of goes away. So it takes out that factor of like, oh, I got to approach somebody in person and fear it. Like
He's a big
rejection.
like wear stuff that's not really his, like a flexer, and he kind of gets people into like.
Oh, he's the worst. He wears, listen, it's gold chains, whatever it is, the chains, it's clubs,
all kind
and
of
he has
a
a bottle
facade.
service problem. He
I
goes.
mean, that's kind of who I am. I don't know why that's
Like he's the best life guy, and he kind of
He
like.
started a show just to get women.
Well, it's like in Santa Monica, they've got the fake private fuselage for the private airplane. You can go rent it for 15-minute intervals. And the influencers do that all the time. They go sit in this fake airplane and pretend they're on a private jet flying somewhere.
Have you done that?
Yeah, wait, by the way, don't worry. We recorded how you pulled up, so we know you're
Have
legit.
you actually done that?
Huh?
Have you actually used that?
I mean, I've been on planes that I didn't pay for that I've like shown that I'm on there.
No, I mean fake planes.
Yeah, he's a
Please.
fake plane guru.
Please. Once that got exposed, there was no chance I was going to do that.
Do you think you should wait till marriage to have sex?
What?
Do you think you should wait till marriage to have sex? I think it's a question that a lot of people should know and ask. I ask them seriously.
Valid question, a little out of the blue.
Because he just brought up the point that people are starting to have sex younger. I'm trying to do your accent, but like, should you wait till marriage to have sex? Do you think?
Well, I'm not sure you should ever have sex.
Well, we have a lot of it lately, Doc.
Yo,
I'll tell you
yo,
that
yo,
much.
yo.
We've had a lot of it.
Wait,
lately.
I want to tell you a
This
story.
thing don't even work no
I
more.
got to tell you guys this at March Madness. This guy, we went to March Madness, and this guy comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, I got to sit next to you." And I was like, "Oh God." And he was like, "You're with Bob Menery?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he said, "I met him 5 years ago. We had dinner together. His girl goes to the bathroom, and he looks at me, and he says, 'Hey, you're kind of a good-looking guy. Please don't f my girlfriend.'" Guy comes up to me in March Madness. Never seen him before. So this is an anxiety that he's had for what, 10 years now?
What, did I have the fear of somebody else sleeping with my girl?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I do. Maybe sometimes.
Is that an inner insecurity?
That's
you think?
dinner talk? I mean, this is somebody you were having dinner with?
Yeah, random guy.
Why was it on the agenda?
You know what I like to do? Unlike these guys that run around with like security and don't talk to people, don't take pictures and stuff. Like, I'm very social, right? So I like.
This guy's the biggest
Gaslighting.
liar,
What?
hypocrite. I don't want to waste Dr. Phil's time.
Neither do I.
Let's get serious. Let's get serious.
Okay,
So,
but wait, I got a question though too, Dr. Phil. How annoyed do you get when you let's say you give Bob some advice, right? How upset do you get when you give all these people advice and it goes in one ear and out the other?
Well, when I first started, seriously, I've been doing this for 45, 50 years. When I first started, it really bothered me. I mean, it was like a young lion. It was going to cure the world. And I mean, I was in private practice and I would talk to people and give them all this advice. I would lay awake at night worrying whether they were going to do it or not. They're home sleeping like a baby. I'm worrying about it. And then I realized, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them float on their back. I mean, all you can do is tell them, and it's up to them. They're either going to do it or they're not. And people make changes when they're ready to make changes, and you can't do it for them. You can get them geared up for it. You can show them the path. You can give them the tools, but people are going to change when finally there's one element that they got to have, and until it's there, they're not going to change, and it's this. until they look themselves in the mirror and say, I am so sick to death of your crap. I am so sick to death of what you do every day that I would rather take the risk to make the change, go through the pain of making the change, deal with the fear of the unknown. I would rather do that than put up with what I'm living with. Until they get to that point, they're not going to make a change. Because it's a comfort zone.
Can we get a mirror in here for these guys?
What would you feel is one of your greatest accomplishments ever, in your personal opinion?
One of my greatest accomplishments.
Yeah, like what are you most proud of that you've done with your life?
Raised two healthy, happy, vibrant, successful boys that are good fathers and husbands and citizens and all, with a lot of help from their mother.
That's a nice
I wanted
network
to ask
TV answer.
real quick, just
No, it's
I'm
true.
joking, of course. That's awesome. That's amazing. Family's very important.
off that question. What do you think is the most common problem that people come to you for? Something you just noticed where it's like, this is a problem that so many people face today.
Fear and anxiety of something in their life. I mean, depression and anxiety, there's a thin line between it, but it's just pain and dissatisfaction in their life, but it expresses in a lot of different ways. But it's really fear, and sometimes that expresses in depression, but it's just, pain from life. People are, it's real hard sometimes to deal with everything life throws at people, and they get overwhelmed. And sometimes that expresses as stuck. Sometimes it expresses as panic. Sometimes it expresses as a false sense of superiority, where they come across as like, overconfident and all, but it all boils down to kind of a fundamental fear of life.
Yeah.
How do you combat that? How would someone combat that best?
Everybody has a personal truth. And what I mean by that is everybody, all of you, everybody standing here, me too, we all have a personal truth. It's something that we believe about ourselves when nobody's looking, nobody's listening, no social mask. It's what, when we wake up at 3 in the morning and we're staring at the ceiling, it's what we believe about ourselves. That's so critically important because we generate the results in life we think we deserve. So if your personal truth is really damaged and you think like, I'm a piece of crap, I'm not as smart as everybody else, I'm not as talented as everybody else, and I'm not as good as everybody else, then you will generate results that match that belief. If you think you're second class, somehow or another you'll sabotage yourself and you'll generate results that go with that belief. And if you fix that belief to where you think, hey, I really do deserve a good life. I really do deserve to have what I see other people having, peace, tranquility, success, or whatever, then you've got a chance to generate those results. But if I can tell a lot about somebody just by kind of watching them walk around, and you can too if you think about it. You see people that don't groom themselves, they don't take care of their health. You'll see them kind of walking down the sidewalk, head down, shuffling around like, God, it's
I gotta
just
go to the
like
bathroom.
all I can do to just
I gotta go to the bathroom
get
real
through
quick.
the day. You've seen people like that. It's just like, oh.
So if you could give a read on everybody in this room right now looking at them, what would you say?
Well, I haven't seen much.
That's
Based
why
on what you've seen, because he wants his answer.
No,
Well, we know a lot about you already. But
yeah, we already know about me. I'm saying, like, Kyle's obviously the stoic, like, hold himself together one. Me, I'm a little wild. What would you think of him if you had to? What's your read
On who?
on Steiny? Because you just said that you can read people.
Well, he's kind of performing right now.
yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's go. What about
I don't really know who he is right now because he's kind of got a mask on.
Well, me and you can talk after.
what about Brad? Mr. Macho has to make a statement that he's the biggest guy here. I don't know if you saw, but when you got off the helicopter, he kind of sized you up.
He is
so.
the biggest guy here.
How? Can I ask you a personal question?
Probably not, but you can try.
All right. How rich are you?
Yeah, that's what I said. Probably not.
Wait, I want to get back. I want
Is
to
it
get back.
like you,
I wanted
Rich?
to ask-
You, Rich, or is it
He's
like
got more-
Let's just make it here. He's got a lot more money than you. We could agree
He
on
was
that.
Well,
doing
that's
great for
obvious.
like.
Well, I got some money
years
buried
on
away
TV,
somewhere.
Forever.
What
Printing.
What guests like stuck with you the most? What's one that was just like super memorable?
It's not a guest, it's a category of guests, and that's kids, particularly young kids, like, that don't really have a voice. Because I see a lot of kids that are 3, 4, 5 years old that if they could, they would look at their parents and say, would you people just shut up? Would you just sit down and shut up? I am so tired of listening to you bicker back and forth and pull me like a rope in this divorce and do drugs. And I just, the young kids that don't have a voice, I really feel for.
What about like? Actually, this is a real question I want to ask you. What's your opinion on Adderall, prescription drugs? I'm serious, prescription drugs, Adderall.
Dude,
I
you are.
with that. I'm
coming
saying
at-
kids. I think kids nowadays take that stuff.
I just
right?
don't get what his answer. How does that create that question?
Bob just came here to get advice from Dr. Phil, and he doesn't want to say it. Like you just want a one-on-one with.
This
Dr.
is all.
Phil.
Anything he
What-
asks
actually,
you is
if
about
you wanted,
himself.
if you
Anything
wanted,
he's
time out.
asking is
If
from
I
himself.
wanted a one-on-one with Dr. Phil, how much does that run an hour for the average person? Is it like?
What about-
is it like
no, let's not
250?
say the
You
average.
don't
$250 an
have
hour?
that much
Yeah.
money.
I got a better.
You're not the
question.
average person, by the way. Your issues are way deeper than the
Listen.
average.
All right, so to your
That
point,
was- I mean, I want to know how much somebody could come to you and
I
ask.
totally understand.
Probably for you, $100
But
grand.
Let's stay
I
on. what
can't
he's-
afford that.
Let's stay on what he's talking about right now. So to your point about like children having to deal with obviously the circumstances because they can't just go, I have new parents tomorrow, right? How do kids find a way through that? Is it good to just go seek professional help or like because their parents a lot of times probably wouldn't even like want to admit the fact that they're sort of parents, right? So how do you even like navigate that as a kid?
Every guest that I have on the show that I've had on for 20 plus years is a teaching tool. You talk to the people that are there, you try to get through to them, but they're really a teaching tool for the millions of people that are watching that aren't there. And you hope that somebody at home will say, wow, he ain't talking to me, but I do an awful lot of what that couple's doing.
Yeah.
And man, I need to stop doing that. I mean, that's my hope, is that by having that couple there and using them as a teaching tool, these other people will go, God, that's embarrassing. I wonder if my kids are having the same response. And because I've had tens of thousands of letters that write in and say, they didn't get it, but I do.
Yeah.
I saw myself in them, and they were hard-headed, and they didn't get it, but I got it. Thank you. I will change what I'm doing. I didn't realize. When I saw myself in her, I thought, oh, my God, why don't you shut up?
Yeah.
And, I mean, sometimes the worst guests that don't get it, there is just one ear and out the other, are the best teaching tools because people go, oh, my God, I sound exactly like her. And watching her, I realize how horrible I must be.
That's actually. Let's talk about the parents too, because you've dealt with about everybody. So how much have you learned from kids with messed up situations on how to raise a kid? You've seen all these problems with the household, like.
And how do we fix that?
To answer your question, and I'm not just saying this because it's a thing to say, I honest to God learn something every time I do a show. Something sticks with me that I use the next time. And I've often said, I'm really fortunate in that I feel like everything I've ever done has prepared me for what I'm now doing, which wouldn't be the case if I spent 5 years selling shrimp out of a van down by the river. That wouldn't have really prepared me for what I'm now doing, but because I've always kind of been in the same interacting with people, dealing with human functioning, it's all built on itself. So I'll probably be the most competent the day I quit. That's always the way it is. You have the most experience the day you retire.
What kind of like dynamic or family situation have you seen causes the most kind of issues? Is it like single mother or?
You know, the absence of two parents in the home is a big deal.
Like having daddy, like honestly, the true thing, like having daddy issues is is a real thing for girls.
I think either or.
I'm not being.
I think
Yeah.
just single parent
That's not
households.
funny. That's
right?
a real question.
Yeah, having a single parent's, that's the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
it
it's
seems-
really tough
it
because you
seems-
can't
Sorry.
you can't do both jobs, and you see single mothers that kind of move a boyfriend in after so long, and the incidence of sex abuse or child abuse combined with a non-biological male living in the home is 33 times normal. It's 33 times normal. It just goes hugely up.
Well, what have you noticed is the best? Like, if there's two parents in the home, usually the kid's gonna have better, just social awareness and like have
Better
more,
outcome.
Yeah, better outcome, or is that not always the case?
No, I do. I do think that having two parents in the home, you have better coverage. You have a male and voice for boys, a female voice for girls, and a male voice for girls and female. Like my boys, I said they grew up really well. I can think back to when they were in 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and they were calling a girl to go to a school dance or something. Their mother would come in there and say, "Now you call her the day of the dance and tell her how excited you are about." I would have never thought to have them go in there and call and tell her how excited you are for tonight. And they go, "Well, I'm not." I don't care if you are or not. You call her and tell her how excited you are, and then the morning after, call her and tell her what a great time you had. "Well, it was boring. I didn't like it." "Well, I don't care. You call her and tell her what a great time you had and how much you appreciate her. She taught him how to treat women.
With
how to treat
respect,
girls.
with respect
That's
is
a
what you
big
do
mom
always.
play.
That's my
I would've
that's my
never-
biggest. I do not talk to anybody.
chill out
Or
with the
shut the
respect.
fuck up,
We saw your
Steiny.
story the other night.
Relax. Listen, I won't do business with anybody, and I won't hang with anybody if I see anybody be disrespectful to women. That's it. That's my biggest pet peeve.
Bro,
in the world.
he blasted his ex.
She deserved to be blasted. That's
All
a
over
certain
2
exceptions
nights
to
ago.
that. And stop bringing that shit up.
That's subjective.
Well, everyone saw it. As you can tell, he's got the most problems out of everybody here.
Yeah.
No, I'm just the most excited to be here.
You have a read on this guy or no?
I think he has a
He
read
needs.
on-
I think he needs more than
you
just
could be
you, my
honest.
friend.
I'm building a portfolio over here.
Yeah.
I got a question in regards to the idea, not the idea, the fact about the family unit, how important it is for like children and development.
Brad.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, in regards to like the world today, because like it's somewhat of a mess, at least in Western society, as far as like the family unit and the sort of attack on it. Do you think that like that's going to get better or worse because of social media? And I think my personal opinion has gotten worse through social media. But I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Thank you, Barbara Walters. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Back to you.
I think it's getting worse.
yeah,
And I think social media is, look, we know that being on social media so much interferes with quality time with the family. But not only that, it actually targets the mental health of the young people on it. The algorithm on social media is designed to attack the mental health of the young kids that are on it, because the more upset they get, the more they click. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, the internal documents from the major companies has revealed that they know that it makes them anxious, and the more anxious they are, the more they click. You can show them a box of puppies, and they go, "Oh, that's cute," and they click for a little bit. But if you show those puppies being abused, they'll click more.
yeah.
That makes them anxious. It makes them upset. But you can open an account with a young girl's name, and within 3 minutes, she's getting toxic content pumped her way. You can add 2 words to that name. Instead of just being Lauren, you can put Lauren lose weight in the title, and the amount of toxic content that's pumped towards her goes up 10 or 12 fold, because the algorithm picks up, oh, okay, they start pumping her 400 calorie diets, 700 calorie diets, anorexic sites.
Ozempic.
Starts pumping all of this stuff into her account, which feeds her anxiety, makes her sick, and because she keeps clicking more. and they know it makes her unhealthy, but she clicks more. So it's like, well, we're going to make her unhealthy, but we'll make more money.
I think it's going to get better.
So the
No
algorithm
chance.
just
I mean,
keeps going.
what's the solution
Well,
to
well,
that then? Because
let's ask
people aren't
this.
going to stop.
What do you
People aren't
think-
going to stop using social
What do you
media.
think is the
though.
appropriate age that a kid should really be on social media?
I don't think they should get on there before they're 16 or 18 years old. If you're concerned about their mental health, they should not be on there at
But
13,
it's impossible
14,
to prevent
15,
though.
16.
How do you prevent that as a parent from the kids getting on there then?
Well,
Florida just passed
you can
it,
start putting authentication on the sites, and parents can start being parents.
Ooh, all right.
That would have to come from like a government regulation, right?
No, you don't need the government in your life.
But who's gonna like the social media
well,
companies? aren't gonna
parents
do
can
that on
start
their
being
own, right?
parents.
I would like literally, if my kid, I would be a tough dad.
So you're saying the parents just don't let them use it till that age?
Right, and these companies need to be held accountable. You got 23% of the population tweets or X's, whatever you call tweeting now. 40% are on Instagram. 60% are on Facebook. The public has power. They stop using that until they clean up what they're doing. There is market power. The population has power. If they just say, you clean it up or we're out. And I guarantee you they'll clean it up.
But why-
It's just there's an awful lot of America that doesn't wield power, but they can. I mean, you saw what happened when they decide they don't like what the company's doing. They can boycott them, not buy their products, and have a multi-billion-dollar impact in a matter of months. They can get the attention of those companies. They don't need the government to come in and do it.
That's true.
If the government would stay the hell out of things, people could work it out.
Seems like, would you agree it's probably harder now than ever to be a parent in today's society?
Oh, it probably seems harder, but there's certainly more challenges now than there were in the 50s. There's more ways to have your child attacked and exploited.
It's crazy now though, but like parents are on social media too.
Bro, it's so easy nowadays to cheat in school. Like imagine, well, I don't know, I'm my age, like with all this like Chat GPT stuff,
know.
like
I'm still the most entertaining fighter that's ever stepped in that octagon, and I think I will go down as that. What's up, guys? Justin the Highlight Gaethje here, current BMF title holder, soon to be undisputed 155-pound champ. Let's go. After fights, I take 3 or 4 weeks and really kind of rest my body, rest my mind, and really kind of get rejuvenated to really get back in there and work as hard as I need to. But, you know, outside of that, I like to play golf as much as possible, and I'm just getting my backyard done. So I'm super excited about this Happy Dad partnership so I can host my friends and family and have some drinks on some ice. It's official, Justin the Highlight Gaethje and Happy Dad Seltzer in the same camp, ready to defend this belt as the baddest motherfucking seltzer in the world. Let's go.
What's your policy on like education at the college level too?
I think that was a question, Stunny.
What do you mean by policy?
No, like you agree like college is important, or like it seems like people now are trying to, all these entrepreneurs are trying to bash like, yo, you don't need college, you can start your life earlier.
I've employed as many as 1,000 people at a time in the past, and I always had a policy that if I had 2 people there that were matched in every way, age, intelligence, experience, and one had a college degree and the other didn't, that was the only difference, I would tend to hire the one with a college degree because I knew something about them I didn't know about the other one. I knew they could set a long-term goal. I knew they could get along with people and work together on projects. I knew they could get along with some jerk authority figure. You know, you just knew things about
Jumping
them
through
that you
hoops.
didn't know about somebody else. Maybe the other could too, but you didn't know that. You knew that about a college graduate. I don't know that anymore because now you've got a generation of students that are thin-skinned. They whine if they get assignments they don't like. They go complain.
We call them little. That's what it is.
They go complain that, well, I've been injured, I've been damaged. We've had more professors disciplined, suspended, or fired in this last generation than since the McCarthy era,
Yeah.
when everybody was the Red Scare. And we've got colleges now that are teaching that they're not talking about toxic masculinity, they're talking about the fact that masculinity is toxic. They're teaching a quality of outcome instead of people learning how to compete and hustle and get out there and be entrepreneurial. We're turning out people, in my opinion, that are not qualified to survive in a dog-eat-dog world,
Do you
and I'm
think-
concerned about that.
You talk a lot about that in your book, right?
I do.
Do you think this is by
Meritocracy?
design? Do you think it's like it's on purpose?
Well, I think we have a disproportionate number of really liberal professors at universities that adhere to that kind of
Participation
mentality.
trophy.
Yeah.
Why do you think?
No, that's not only the participation.
Why do I think what?
Look, why is there so many? Like, why are all those teachers like liberal?
Well, I
Is it
think
just
they don't want to
coincidence or
compete
just
in the. I think they don't want to compete in the marketplace, so they go get a job where you don't have to compete. It's safe in the university environment. You know, you used to go to the university. That's where you hear other points of view. Now they have what we call the heckler's veto. Somebody comes with a different point of view, you just yell and boo them down instead of listening to what they have to say. You might disagree with it, but instead of debating them or hearing it and then deciding you don't agree with it, they just
Attack each
protest and get them thrown off campus. What the hell is that all about? You're supposed to hear the other side and decide, okay, I don't like that. Well, all right, but at least hear them out. How
Why do you think
gonna
it's
learn?
happening? Like, why do you think it's happening?
Well, we're not teaching critical thinking. We're not teaching debate. We're not saying listen to the other side, weigh both sides, and make up your mind. If you disagree, say so. But you got to hear them before you disagree.
yeah.
Right.
How do you know?
Is this all in your book? Is this in
It
the book?
is.
Okay. Where do I get the book? Because I don't read, but I'm going to read your
Barnes and
book.
Noble, Amazon.
It's probably
Yeah.
everywhere.
Everywhere in the
Yeah,
world.
I
from
imagine.
the
But that's
photographer.
Everywhere
another.
books are sold.
When
You
was
talk
last
about
time-
meritocracy
When was last
a
time?
lot.
Wait,
I
wait, hold
do.
on. No way you've
I
ever
do.
read a book, Bob.
I talk a
I
lot
read-
about
I read a book
I talk
once.
a lot about meritocracy because I think this country was built on hard work, and now the most fundamental principle of psychology is don't reward bad behavior. Right? If you have a child throwing a tantrum in the floor at the grocery store because they want candy, you don't race up and go, oh, great tantrum, here's a piece of candy. You don't reward bad behavior, but we're doing that as a country. We're paying people not to work.
But we're also doing that on social media at large. So like, how is it?
What other ways are we doing that?
Wait,
Yeah.
what's an example of that where you were saying? How are we rewarding bad behavior?
welfare?
Attention.
Well, let's look at it this way. We don't even call felons felons anymore. We don't call rapists rapists. We don't call murderers murderers. They're now called justice-involved individuals. So we've got certain divisions of the Justice Department where your loved one wasn't murdered. They intersected with a justice-involved individual because we don't want to label that person and hurt their feelings.
Yeah.
I was reading a story this weekend. Somebody's daughter was murdered, and the alleged perpetrator had 21 counts against them, 9 felony assaults, and all of them they were processed and released. This person was out under the no bail.
In what state was that?
And they killed him again.
Yeah.
Sounds like California.
No, there's
to
this-
be honest.
now they say I've seen now recently they say unalived. Like someone will get killed and they say unalived, and it's like, dude, that guy was murdered. Like they're trying to change the entire narrative almost.
Some of the colleges don't even have an admissions office anymore because it implies somebody could be rejected, and that would be negative to them. So they now call it Office of Enrollment Management.
Are they just trying to make everyone? I don't get it.
Well, seriously, I mean, we're so overreacting, and a lot of the colleges use trigger warnings. We're going to warn you if there's going to be something upsetting in this course. There was one that has a trigger warning for Romeo and Juliet. Trigger warning involves violence and suicide. Well, spoiler alert. I mean, that's a Shakespearean classic. It's been around forever. if nobody didn't already know it, you've told them that there's going to be a suicide at the end. No more cliffhanger there.
That's crazy.
And here's the thing. Trigger warnings don't work. There's a whole body of literature that says trigger warnings don't work. These universities they have access to the same research that I have access to that says trigger warnings don't work. So why are they using them if they have access to the same literature I do? Well, they're virtue signaling. They're saying, hey, we're very sensitive over here, so we'll let you know if anything's going to upset you. The problem is the world doesn't use trigger warnings. You're not going to have somebody come up to you in the world and say, hey, when you turn the next corner, there could be something there that upsets you, so we're just out here on the sidewalk letting people know.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. So why do that in college? Why don't you teach them to go on red and stop on green and then give them the keys to a car? Because that's not the way the world works. You need to teach them how the world works, and we're not doing that.
Why do you think we're not doing that, though? Genuinely. Because
Well,
I understand completely what you're saying. I think we all get it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people nowadays that you talk to agree with that.
Yeah, it was like, what's going on?
Well, it's also like, do you think teachers have too much power to speak freely on topics they shouldn't?
Well, they're certainly getting away from the course outline if they're in there talking about all of these things like toxic masculinity in an art history class. What the hell does that have to do with art history? But they have a captive audience and they have their political agenda, so they're pushing it on to these students. And I've always wondered if their idea is we're going to have equality of outcome, then why am I spending $250,000 to get an elite education?
Yeah.
If everybody's going to have the same outcome, if the guy that sits home in a beanbag eating Cheetos all day is going to get the same outcome as somebody out here busting their
Are
ass
there,
all
are there
day,
certain schools that do it better?
then why do I need to pay you for this elite education?
But are there
That
certain
seems hypocritical to me.
are there certain
well,
schools that do it
hold
better,
on,
Dr. Phil? Are there certain schools that you can
Oh,
go
yeah,
to?
there are schools that do it better than others. But
Of course.
some of them that are really woke and run this agenda. I've seen. Harvard says they're all about free speech, but they're not.
Yeah.
They rated, I think, 252 out of 252 on free speech. They don't allow other viewpoints.
I've seen that, like, with clips that go viral of, like, a teacher, let's just say, for instance, in a middle school, and there's a pride flag in her room, or she's talking about something and a parent shows up and they're like, who are you to tell my kid or talk to my kid? That's something I should handle. So how do you kind of fix that issue where the teachers are, like, preaching to your kid about something that probably isn't even something they should discuss?
I mean, that DeSantis passed something in Florida about that.
Well, you got to decide, do you want to co-parent with some teacher or do you want to raise your own child? And most of the teachers, let me tell you, I think teachers are the most dedicated bunch of people you could ever find. They're underpaid, overworked. They don't want to do, most of them just want to teach. It's the teachers' unions that are running these agendas and pushing all this stuff into the curriculum and then trying to hide it from parents.
But do you think it's just the person by person, teacher by teacher, who's just because they're in that role and then they're just pushing their sort of like political ideology through their class, or like you think there's a reason for it?
No, I think it's the teachers' unions.
What do you think about, like, kids? Like, I'm looking back when I was in college too. There's so much pressure when you're like 22 or 23 to have, what am I going to do the rest of my life? Everyone else is so successful. By 24, if I'm not successful, I'm a loser. Like, do you ever deal with people like that just have no idea what they want to do in life in general?
I think a lot of people don't know what they want to do when they're 22 or 24. There's a phenomenon now called doom spenders. This is the first generation that they predict won't do as well as their parents. And they say they're not going to be able to afford a mortgage, not going to be able to get a house, not going to do as well as their parents. And so it's called doom spenders, just say, what the hell, I might as well just blow it, just go spend my money and not worry about the future because I can't get there. There's no way to get there, so I'll just live for the moment. and that's a pretty fatalistic.
What's
point
really
of view.
changed though? What's really changed to cause this? Because it wasn't like this. I feel like the internet is a part of this.
Well,
'Cause, like,
inflation's pretty bad.
That yeah, obviously, yeah.
Do you golf?
Bro.
What's wrong? I can't ask Dr. Phil. He's a golfer. Are you a golfer?
I have clubs.
You don't play well? You don't.
No, I don't play well. I play, but I don't play well.
Are you into pickleball?
No.
What do you do for fun outside of helping people with their lives?
I play tennis about 300 days a year.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I.
How's your game?
Yeah, how's your tennis game?
Well, I'm consistent. I show up every day.
That's important.
Is that your big talent is tennis in the athletic world?
Well, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy playing.
Who's your favorite tennis player of all time?
I like Federer, and I like Djokovic. Most people don't like him,
course.
but I like him actually.
You watch sports?
Yeah.
What's your favorite sport to watch?
I like football.
Who's your team?
Well, I like the Cowboys. I
You
like
got-
them every Sunday morning. I quit them every Sunday night.
What's the deal? Like really, what's the deal with the Cowboys? How are they always the favorite? Everyone loves them, and they just
Man,
every year they let everyone down. Every fan.
God,
They have a great image.
Yeah,
they do.
You're
They're,
you're
they're
America's
a fun
team.
team to root
They're
for.
America's team. They just suck
They are.
when
They got-
crunch time
They got
comes.
great talent. They got a great image. It's been a long time.
Do you ever work with like high-profile athletes? Do they ever call you? And I know you probably can't name names or anything like that, but do you ever have high-profile people call you and ask you to sit down with them? Mm-hmm. Any one in particular?
No.
After he says
Wait,
they
but how
can't
much-
name
We couldn't
names,
get them,
name more
folks.
names.
We missed.
Going off that, does it bother you ever that people just instead of wanting to just like be your friend or talk about other stuff, they just come to you only for advice about their life?
No,
That's a good
I
question.
have people contact me, and I always tell them, look, I don't do that. I don't work with people one-on-one anymore. And I tell them, look, I'll talk to you one time to figure out what I think you need, and I'll direct you to the right kind of resource. And that's what I do. But I don't take anybody on and work them through a problem. Sometimes it's pretty simple.
We should play a tennis match, me versus you, and
Yep.
then winner. If I win, I get 3 hours of counseling,
Yeah.
and then if you win, I don't know what I can offer Dr. Phil, but what would you want if I
Probably
beat?
not a whole lot.
What would you
Yeah.
want if I beat? What? Because
I
I
don't
know I
even-
would
I don't even
smoke
think you
Dr.
want
Phil
to
in tennis.
entertain that
Stained
wager.
basketball jersey.
Yeah, I would smoke Dr. Phil in tennis.
Yeah, you think so?
I think so.
I don't think so, bro.
I don't play as much as you. 300 days. It's a
He'll
lot.
probably dust you.
Yeah, I don't know. Be a good match. If you ever want to,
I'm twice your age. You'd have to give me some kind of.
we'd handicap it a little bit.
Yeah,
We'd
we'd tie a
handicap.
chair to your leg or something.
Yeah.
I think you start at like 30 love every game.
I'll sell 100,000 copies of your book if you beat me. And I won't
How are you
stop
gonna do
until
that?
I.
How are you gonna do that?
I'll figure a way, Steiny. Stay out of this. This is my negotiation with Dr. Phil.
That's a huge promise. 100,000 copies.
What was it like working with Oprah back in the day?
Oprah's great. I mean, she's really great. We've been friends for, 35 years now, I guess. And people ask me sometimes, is she as nice as she seems? And I always say, no, she's nicer. Television's not big enough to capture her. She's really the real deal.
How did that relationship start? Was it you were a psychologist for like a defense team for her, right?
Yeah, she got sued up in Amarillo for a mad cow case,
Okay.
and I was on her defense team.
Is that what got you into the show business?
Yeah, I had no designs on being on television at all.
Why do you think people took to you so much?
I think that people know the truth when they hear it.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Absolutely.
I mean, if somebody's got a problem with their health or got a bad diagnosis or something, people come by and pat them on the hand. Oh, you're going to be fine. You'll be okay.
Fake.
And if somebody comes along and says, "Okay, look, let's figure this out here. It's either A or it's B or it's C. And if it's A, we're going to do this. If it's B, we'll do this. If it's C, we'll do this." And I'll help you navigate it one way or the other. So it is what it is, and we'll do what we have to do. So let's just wrap our head around it and walk through it.
Yeah.
They hear that. The rest of it's noise. They say, okay, this guy's telling me the truth, and I hear it, and They value that. They don't value the, oh, you'll be fine, honey.
Yeah.
That's an insult. And I think people are that way in general. If somebody tells them the truth, whether it's what they want to hear or not, they find that refreshing in a world full of bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened when I went on the air. I told people the truth. And it was kind of shocking a bit, but I think they found it refreshing. It was like, here's somebody that's not Hollywood. They're not pandering to the camera. They're not trying to be political. They're just telling you the truth. And I told Oprah that the first time I went on. I said, look, I'll come do what I do. If you can cut up into television, that's fine. If you can't, I was busy when I got here.
Yeah.
And if people like it, that's fine. If they don't, I could care less. It doesn't make any difference to me.
Do people come up to you a lot in public?
Yeah.
Do you like it or hate it?
Well, I'm very appreciative of people that are supportive.
Right.
I do. I hate people that, work to get known or get followers and then act like they're too good to talk to them.
Oh, really? Prime example. Sorry, go back to you, Dr. Phil.
Who's Tiny?
Yeah, he's the worst at
Kept it
that.
real with you since.
No,
I've always-
dude, I've seen him. People come up to him all the
I've
time. He's
always
like, "I have no pictures
appreciated
for you." It's like,
that.
buddy, who the f*** are you? Go ahead.
I've never done that one time.
Met multiple times.
Never.
I've
done
always appreciated that. So,
that.
and most people are very respectful.
Yeah.
Do you have, obviously you've affected a lot of people's lives and you've changed a lot of people's lives. Do you have like one certain scenario that really like hit home for you, or it was like, whoa, what I was able to accomplish with someone who was really beat up and changed their lives?
I just try to put people on the path, and then I've seen people do amazing things. But it's them that does it, not me. The work starts after they leave me.
Yeah.
I just point them in the right
What,
direction.
if you had to like guess what % of people actually take what you give them and go with it?
Well, I think a lot. Yeah, I think by the time people get to me, they're really ready. They're really ready.
You watch movies?
Sometimes.
Yeah. You ever seen Roadhouse?
Oh yeah.
You seen Roadhouse, the movie?
Yeah.
The new one?
Oh, I saw part of that.
No, there's the old
What do
one
you mean
too.
saw part? What, you only saw part of
New one,
Roadhouse?
the remake was not as good as the
You've
classic,
never
I
seen the
found.
new Roadhouse movie? It's like broke all records on Amazon.
Yeah.
The remake, I don't know. The
Interesting.
What
classic
about
was a lot
Dr.
better.
Phil, going back to what he's talking about, because
Wow.
he had a scene in the new Roadhouse movie
Scene.
on Amazon Prime. How important is it to stay humble and really just like have that gratitude and appreciate stuff? Like, because recently he was in a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, and he won't stop talking about it.
It's called marketing the movie. It's called marketing the movie.
No, but I mean, how important is that to just stay humble and keep appreciating your success, what you've been able to accomplish?
Well, my experience has been if you're not humble, somebody will humble you.
Yeah.
So I think it's easier to just stay there so you don't get put there.
Do you think you could humble him really quick? Because I mean,
Yeah, I
lately
think
it's
you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Yeah, have Steiny humble me. See what happens.
Have you seen all this like weird coming out about what was going on behind the scenes of Nickelodeon?
Yeah, I've seen some of it, but I've never really watched Nickelodeon, so I didn't know a lot of those
Characters.
those people, or the abusers either, alleged abusers either.
You got a little cocktail there, huh? Is it a cocktail?
What's that?
Is that a cocktail?
That's iced tea.
Oh.
what going off
I was
what,
going to say, I
what
thought we were
Kyle-
like turning up with Dr. Phil a little bit here.
One thing going off what Kyle just said, obviously there's a lot of going on about a bunch of things. Is this something like, I mean, you just see all this sexual activity and all this stuff. Is this something that you think happens when people get that power and that money and that access, or are they just, do they have that with them?
Well, sexual abuse is always about power. It's never about sex.
So what I'm trying to say is, are these people completely fucked up before they acquire that success and they're around all these people, or does that just happen once you get to that level?
Well, that's a pretty broad question. I think you have to answer that on a case-by-case basis, but there's always a power factor involved. Always. I mean, rape is always about power, not sex. It's always about power.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is, like, you think once they get to that point, that's when it really kicks in, and it's more of like a power trip type situation.
Yeah, I do.
Solid question, Steiny.
Well, it's a
No,
serious.
it's true.
It's
You are
serious
hearing a lot of
problem going
like
on
I
right
think
now.
it's awful. I'm
like
just saying,
P.
solid
Diddy's
question.
going through
Why
it
always
right
think you're
now.
gonna say sarcastically?
That's like a huge thing.
The
Yeah, how
Nickelodeon
tapped in
P.
are you in with like all the stuff that's happening kind of in the world on social media, and like are you watching this stuff daily? Like you trying to learn from it or?
No, unless it gets put on my radar in some way, I don't deep dive on all that stuff unless it gets on my radar.
Yeah.
And by get on my radar, I mean if lawyers, victims, or perpetrators contact me to get involved in some way, which is not unusual.
Yeah.
To be involved in something like that, then I get, then I study it and find out what's going on. But I certainly don't. My research is not social media. I find out. I go to the court. I get the pleadings. I find out what's going on. I sure don't find out from social media. Because who knows
what's true?
Oh my God!
You can't even tell what's real or fake anymore.
No, you really can't. I saw an ad the other day where I was selling a product.
Well, you were selling a product.
Yeah, it was me holding the product,
it
selling it, talking about it. Never seen it, never heard of it, nothing.
What the?
But
Immediate cease and desist, right?
oh,
Immediate.
these go out.
You don't f- with
dozens
Dr.
a
Phil.
month.
You don't f- with Dr. Phil. Everybody looking at this camera
I
right
send
now.
out dozens of these things a month. Usually it's just ads that's got my picture in it selling something. And but this was a deep fake with voice and
The worst.
picture, everything.
The worst.
Now they have the AI voices. Too.
Yeah.
But there's no preventing that, right?
There's no preventing.
And that's just going that way.
And as soon as you go after them, they'll shut down.
Just open a new
and
one.
Pop up
Yeah.
across the street with a new corporate name and different product or same product. It's like playing whack-a-mole.
Right.
You just
Do you go to? You ever? That's a good game. What, you ever play whack-a-mole? That's actually a good.
Whack-a-mole?
That's
Where
actually
they played
that used to
whack-a-mole.
be my go-to game.
What's going on?
What do you mean?
You're so random right now. It's on purpose.
How many times
I had
have
a
you
great
been
night
like
last
faced
night.
with the
Great
situation?
night.
Have you been, and how many times have you been faced with a situation where you're just like, I don't know what to do here?
It's happening right now.
Besides Bob,
you get situations where you realize that there's no good way out of a bad situation. I mean, sometimes you just can't. Particularly if you've got somebody that has organically based psychosis or something, there's nothing you can do about it.
yeah.
You know.
So do you
That's a
let
good
them know?
Bro,
like,
this
hey, I
is
can't
low-key
do
call.
it?
We've got issues. This is
What's
the book.
organically based psychosis?
Well, if you've got somebody that's got brain damage and their neurotransmitters are
That's definitely Bob.
all scrambled up.
Shut the fuck up. Not you, Dr. Phil. I didn't tell you to shut the fuck up. I said to Kyle. We've got issues.
That's
How long
a-
has this book been
You
out
should
for?
read that.
No,
I
that's a-
swear on my life I'm going to read
That's
this
a
book.
real wager. If you could go page to end on that book.
I'm going to read this out of respect for
In-
Dr.
in
Phil
2 years.
coming in here because I know Dr. Phil took time out of his busy schedule to come and be here. And this is one thing I'm going to do. I always do something special for my guests.
Yeah, that's 104,000 words.
#1 New York Times best-selling author. So what's the process of writing a book? You're not sitting there typing in a typewriter at night, obviously. So you relay it, because I think a lot of people want to write books nowadays, right? Like you always want to write a book. What's the process of writing a book like this? Like who's your team? How does this get done?
I write every word in every book I've ever done.
Wow.
And how many books have you put out now?
10.
Nice.
Which one's your favorite?
That one's probably my favorite. Second is called Self Matters.
Okay.
Third would be Life Code.
That's pretty sick.
Do you ever think there's going to be a time in your life where you're just going to be over all this? Just want to focus more on yourself than other people's problems?
Yeah, I'm sure that time's coming, but I can't see retiring. I think I would go.
You're never
What are you
leaving
gonna
the
do?
game.
That's
You're
the
never
thing.
leaving
That's
the
the
game.
question, right? What are you going to do if you retire?
He's gonna go play
I
tennis
think
every
that
day.
would be.
Nah.
It's like I love ice cream, but I wouldn't want to have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So if you retire and play golf and tennis or something, it's like, oh man, I think I'd get so bored of that in a fast hurry. I got to have a challenge, something to go do.
Well, I got a challenge for you. So Steiny over here has trouble picking up women. It's plain and simple, and I'm not going to say this too. He is the worst at picking up women. I'm very good at it.
How are you? Off of what basis?
What do you
are saying
think,
that?
Dr. Phil, for a guy like him? Because he's obviously, if you look at him,
You scare a lot of chicks,
buddy,
though.
you have no idea what you're talking
I
about.
think
That's
the
thing.
main thing is just confidence and just
Bring it over,
being
please.
who you are.
And yes, the
audiobook. That's
no,
perfect.
hold on here. Let me just finish on this before
There's an audiobook version of Dr. Phil's.
There is an audio version.
That's good for cardio sessions.
Actually, that's better. I would rather listen. That's an easier way to do this. With
I
the
think
book.
that's the only way you do it.
That's the only way I would do it. The audio version is the only way I would do it. That's the way I would do it. Okay, cool. So back to Steiny. Do you have any advice for him, Dr. Phil, being an expert at what you're at? Since I watch him on the daily go up to all these girls, he fails every single time that I see him walk around like this.
We'll just say for the general guy, because I don't have that issue, but we'll just say for
for that man right there. Any advice how to pick up women?
Well, you understand, I haven't been on a date with a new girl in 51 years. So
well, here's a better
Neither
question.
is he.
Yes, I
Wow,
have.
you guys have something in common.
Actually, wait, hold on, really
I got a
quick.
good
I actually
question.
took his ex out recently, but really quick, how do you know when you find the right girl?
Oh, you know.
Yeah, you know.
You just know right away.
Question.
Yeah, you know. Yeah,
I
it'll feel right.
Then I
have
guess
a
I'm not
legit
there.
question.
All right.
Obviously, after talking to you for some time now, it's clear like your ideologies around like meritocracy and how you focus and shift and like change your life and structure your life. Who taught you that? Was it just through all your experiences?
Yeah, read
Or
this.
did you have a strong parental figures in your life that made you this way, or like what do you attribute your success to in that?
Well, I grew up really poor.
Yeah.
I mean, really poor. And when you grow up poor, you're really results oriented. And because when you grow up poor, if you don't work today and get paid today,
You don't eat.
then you don't eat today.
Yeah.
When you grow up that way and realize if you don't do some work and get paid for it today, you're not going to eat today. And if you spend time, homeless on the street where you don't have anywhere to live, then you realize if you want to create shelter, you better find some work to pay somebody to let you stay somewhere. And that puts a pretty good work ethic in you at a real fast hurry. And my dad was a real bad alcoholic, and our house was really chaotic. And so you become really self-sufficient at a very early age. And so, I mean, I threw paper routes and had jobs from the time I was like 12 or 13 years old because I had to, because you get like hungry. And I had to contribute to the family. I had sisters and a mother and stuff, so I had to work to put money on the table so people could eat. And, we didn't have utilities and stuff on in the house some of the time, and also you just realize there's no victim. It's not like you go say I'm a victim. Nobody gives a if you're a victim or not. If you get what you get. It's just that simple.
I agree.
I don't want anybody to give me anything, so I go out and create whatever I create.
What's the biggest advice you'd give that kid now, knowing what you know now?
And the landscape's so different now, so.
Yeah.
But people love to play victim nowadays.
That's the
Yeah.
most
Biggest
popular
problem,
thing.
too.
Race or
Listen,
just
nobody
anything,
wants to
right?
hear your whining. I don't care what they say to your face. You gotta do what you gotta do. And at the time, you don't realize that you don't walk around saying, "Oh, I'm poor. I got it." At the time, you just do what you do. You don't walk around thinking I'm the poor kid. You just do what you do. You look back later and realize you were the poorest kid in the block or the poorest kid in the school. But at the time, you're just living. You're just getting by. You don't have time to think about that. Now, that's all people do is think about that. How can I be a victim? And how can I get somebody to come in and give me money, take care of me, do whatever? That isn't even people that sit around and think about how they can create some kind of new victimhood. Poor doesn't scare me. I've done poor. I know how to do poor. So it's never scared me, and so I've never played the game with sweaty palms. So I get in business or get in a business deal, I don't get nervous about it because I don't worry about it because it'll work, it won't work.
Because being the victim and escape for wanting to put in hard work.
Of course it is.
It's an excuse.
It's like you
Makes
want the
people feel
government to
better,
come in
right?
and take care of you, but anybody to take care of you, that's a myth. There's no old sayings get to be old sayings because they're profound, and like a stitch in time saves nine. All that kind of that old saying. There's no free lunch. Let me tell you, the government comes in and puts people on assistance and does this and does that. That's not a free lunch, because it steals people's self-esteem. It steals their self-worth. It steals their initiative, and it steals their future. That is not a free lunch. It's very expensive to depend on the government.
Yeah.
They know a lot of. What about aliens? You think aliens exist? I don't care. I'm switching subjects. I want to know Dr. Phil's take, because I feel like he's low-key connected. You believe in aliens?
No.
You don't? Don't. All right. When he stares at me like that, I'm done.
It is wild though. How many?
That's
like,
a good stare down. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any? Wait. Let's see. Do you want to ask like an educated question real quick?
Let's get one.
I think he gets asked educated questions every day. That's what he's done for the last 20. I think it's fun sometimes to switch it up a little bit and let's ask some different questions.
Okay, go ahead. Go one more.
I just think that I was. Would you go to space?
I like that question. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, do you, Brad?
I
Thanks.
like that one.
Would you go to space?
I wouldn't do one of these things where you go up for like four minutes and come back down.
Have people
The
done
risk
that yet?
reward ratio is not there.
You'd want to go up there and chill
I
for
mean,
a
if
little
I'm
bit.
going to go, I
You're gonna
would want
vibe.
to go to the space station or something and spend some time to be able to experience it. But I'd rather go on a roller coaster than just go up and come back down. The
You like
risk
roller
reward
coasters?
ratio's not there.
You like roller coasters?
No, I mean they're okay, but I mean I'd just soon do that as go blast up and come right back down.
So,
But if you go to like a theme park, are you going on a roller coaster?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
so what are
I can't do that.
what are some of your personal biggest fears?
Something happened to one of my kids.
What's yours?
That's deep.
Yeah, why don't we go around?
Mine's like sharks.
You go
I
ahead
think.
and you actually tackle that
Mine's
one first.
sharks.
Sharks are terrifying.
I'm scared of sharks.
Well, you live in Miami.
I know. Well, I don't go deep. I go in, but I don't go like super deep.
Well, you've seen their fin.
I've never seen a fin.
Top
If
of
I
the
seen a
water,
fin, I'd shoot
Bro,
myself.
we did 9 days. I deserted myself 9 days on an island with my buddy to catch a great white shark.
What's your biggest?
My biggest fear?
Someone banging
Probably-
your girl.
probably like
Someone banging your girl. We all know
Probably
that.
like 20 years in state prison. That'd be pretty bad.
That's okay. Jail's a big fear of mine too.
20 years in state
Yeah,
prison.
jail's
Jails.
probably the
Not
biggest
federal.
fear.
Federal's easier.
I think probably a common one's like for normal people is just being a failure in life. Would you agree with that?
I think that was his fear. That's why he said it that way. That's good.
Well, the
His
number one
fear-
fear among all people is failure.
Yeah.
And there's synonyms for that, like rejection or whatever. But rejection is failure. It means the world doesn't want what you want, so that's rejection. That's failure. If your business fails, it means the world rejected what you had to offer.
What's the scariest thing you've ever done in your life? I chased tornadoes, but back to you.
You've never done that.
I've chased
I
multiple.
think the better question is
I asked Dr. Phil.
What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Well, those are two questions. What's the scariest thing I've ever done? And the
Yeah,
biggest
exactly.
risk?
Thank you, Steiny. Sorry, what is the scariest thing you've ever done?
Walked one of my sons into surgery for something they didn't know what was, and they thought it could be something really, really bad.
Did it end up all right?
Yeah.
Good. Good to hear. Yeah, that's scary. That counts.
What's your biggest bad?
Not being able to do 225?
Yeah, like not being able to hit 225 for reps on the bench, I think. If I'm being really honest.
Steiny what's your biggest
It's
fear?
what?
Not being able
like,
to bench 225.
like for reps.
2 plates.
Like at some point, I'll probably have to face that. Not in a long time though.
Steiny, having a girl while you're laying down on the bed for the first time last week?
And why is 225 important to you?
Why is 225? It's
Yeah.
kind of like
this is amazing.
No, I love it. It's kind of like a benchmark for like being a solid gym bro.
2 plates.
2 plates.
Yeah.
Even just for one. For
Have
most
you done
guys.
it? Yes, Danny.
225?
No.
No, I did 185 with you
It's
once.
good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
You work out?
Yeah, I did that in college a lot.
Did you ever bench 225 for reps?
Uh-huh.
I'm actually really curious.
Uh-huh.
I believe that. You're like actually bigger than I thought you were going to be. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, when I was in college, my arms were a half inch bigger than my neck.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you a gym bro? Like, were you like?
I was a linebacker.
Oh.
Oh, shit. Oklahoma drill.
Phil.
Oklahoma
Oh,
drill.
there we go.
Oklahoma
Got me
drill.
hyped up right now.
Oklahoma drill, I think.
Do you have
Yeah.
Do you have a biggest regret in life, if any?
Not yet.
Not yet.
What about, do you pay attention to the March Madness or?
I haven't this year. I usually do, but I haven't this year because I'm starting a network, and it's kind of been a little time consuming.
Yeah.
What are you excited for about like the old show compared to the new network?
Yeah, prime time.
I'm really proud of the 21 years we did.
Amazing job.
Yeah.
Amazing job.
I really am, and I'm really proud of my relationship with CBS. You know, we're still in business together. They're running a lot of my library episodes again for another year. They did last year, and they're doing again this next year. And I've got one of the top dramas on in their primetime lineup. So Help Me Todd is on in primetime, and we got another one about to start. And but I wanted I was on an hour a week. I mean, an hour a day, 5 days a week, and now I've got 24 hours a day, 7 days a week as a network, and I've got 4 hours of news that I can communicate through. I'm not going to be an anchor on the news, but I can, communicate through the news. And my show's on in prime time, so I can speak to a broader section of the audience because most everybody's home from work.
And where can people watch?
You can go to meritstreetmedia.com, and there's a button there that says Channel Finder, and you hit that and then put in your zip code, and it lists every way you can look where you can watch it.
Oh, so it's a whole network. So you're gonna have different shows
Yeah.
on your network now.
Yeah, like we've got other talent.
So that's a whole
involved.
different business now.
Yeah, like Steve Harvey's on the network, and
Oh wow.
Nancy Grace is on the network, and Bear Grylls is on the network, and Mike Rowe, and Chris Harrison.
Nancy Grace
We
is
should get a show.
she's
we
aggressive.
should get a show on marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put you on there.
Is it all like news oriented, or is it like lifestyle?
No, there's
things?
entertainment, lifestyle. There's all different kinds of things on there. It's news and entertainment. It's essential news and entertainment. We want to make television you can use.
Yeah.
Things that impact your life.
Do you invest a
do a
lot
couple
in
pods on
different
there.
projects outside
I
of
do.
television? What's one that's hit?
We've done okay.
This is completely random, but what kind of music do you listen to?
I think everything's been random in this thing so far.
Well, yours
Like,
have
what's your
been
favorite
very
band of all
random.
time?
Well, I'm an oldies guy.
So it's like the Stones.
Yeah, I like Stones. I like the Temptations. I like the Four Tops. I like the Jonas Brothers.
Jonas Brothers.
That's a random
I
one.
didn't see that coming.
I did not
Oh,
see
they're
that.
That
amazing.
was-
What's your track? Burning Up?
I like I like their really early songs. I like their
Like Camp Rock?
yeah. That was I was much younger then, but I love that. I love their
Talking about the
songs
same
now.
band?
You ever bump a little Lil Durk?
What?
Lil Durk?
No.
No. I like Lil Durk.
Yeet. No.
There's a lot. There's all these new generation rappers now.
Ton, dude.
Like all because of all the everybody's like a rapper now.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
If you could change one thing in 2024, what would it be?
Brad, you start because you probably have the longest.
You could
answer.
change one thing. In
How much more time do you
2024,
have before
what would
Brad
it be?
goes? It's gonna be 2 or 3 minutes.
That's funny. That's good.
I would just
mean-
say for people to just get along more, probably.
For you personally, though, I think
I'd say not
For
to be. I'd
myself?
say not to be so impulsive. That would be mine. Not to be so impulsive.
I mean, dude, I think it comes down to the same thing you were saying earlier about like just feeling like I'm good enough about myself, like just being good enough. And in a lot of circumstances, right? Because like there's just certain times when it's like I wish I had done things differently. I wish I had like acted or had a conversation before it was a problem. I think just generally just being like more open to that sort of conversation before it becomes a bigger problem, and like just yeah.
The question
answer,
was,
Brad.
I think honestly for people is just focus on yourself, believe in yourself, and don't give a fuck about other people, what they think about you.
I thought he meant specifically for ourselves.
I mean, in any way you want to answer.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bob.
I already did. Impulsive, like not make late night 4 a.m. posts and going wild.
What about you?
That the book I've written, We've Got Issues, is really a book about unification. Because I list in there 10 things that I think are important for a healthy society. Because I think we forget that we're all Americans. Everybody's so divided, and I'm really proud of this country. I'm proud to be an American.
Oh yeah.
And people forget that. You know, we're all Americans. And if I spend a lot of time in the litigation arena, like you were saying. That's how I met Oprah. And I always tell people, if I'm negotiating with somebody, the first thing I do, and I even say this to teenagers that are negotiating with their parents for a different curfew or something, or if you're negotiating country to country or whatever, first thing you should always do is sit down and say, let's make a list of everything we agree on first, and then we can talk about things we don't agree on. People don't do that enough. I mean, if you first say, what's our common ground, we wouldn't be nearly as divided as we are right now. Think about what
I think
can
the
we agree
media
on?
amplifies that.
They
though,
do,
right?
because it sells tickets. But if you think about it, we all want a solid America, right?
Yeah.
We all want a solid country. We want a prosperous country. We want a safe country. We want a better country for our kids. You know, you think about it, we all want so many of the same things. We want everybody to be prosperous. We want everybody to be secure. We want all of that. The only things we disagree about pretty much are how. We all want the same things. It's just what's the best way to get there. People, they spend so much time picking at differences instead of focusing on what we agree on. And I want everybody to do well.
I have to tell you, it's actually funny you say that. We did Dana recently, Dana White, and he said that.
Yeah, I know Dana. He's a great guy.
Of course.
Oh,
He
he's
said
wonderful,
The biggest
all right.
problem is people are now afraid to be proud to be an American.
And I say it, first page of the book, I say, I love this country. I stand up when the flag goes by. I put my hand over my heart when the national anthem plays. I mean, I love this country. And I'm tired of people apologizing for it.
Yeah,
I mean,
why do you think people are afraid to stand up and be proud to be an American now?
because it gets criticized by so many people that find something wrong and say we should be ashamed of this. I love this country enough to say that we do have issues. Of course we do. We don't have equal opportunity for everybody. We don't, and we should work harder to make that happen, for sure. I don't care if you start out in third base, dugout, or dumpster. We all have to work to get where we're going. And we should work to try to level that playing field. I agree with that 100%. We do have problems. We do have inequities in this country, and we should work to make them better. But that doesn't mean I don't love this country. And if I got a hill to climb, I'd sure rather climb it in America than anywhere else.
You should run for office.
Oh, yeah.
You ever thought about it?
Nope.
No. All right.
All right.
Don't want to run for office. I can have bigger impact from the outside in than the inside out.
Well, I'd vote for you.
Bob, you could be his VP.
I got that. I got that on lock. I got that on lock. I might not. Yeah, you don't. I don't think you want me as a VP.
All right.
Choose different.
But I would take your vote if I ran, which I won't.
And you would have it, sir.
You can't vote for me because I won't run, but you can tell everybody to watch Merit Street Media, because we talk. Our first show, which airs tomorrow, is about all this anti-Semitism on the campuses. I mean, I heard stuff I hadn't heard since the Nazi youth camps. What the hell is that about?
Crazy.
Really? It's terrible.
What time is it? What time does it air at?
8, 7 Central.
What else is coming up on it?
Oh, what else is coming up on it?
A lot of different stuff, I guess.
Yeah, we do. We go to the border. We're actually spending tax dollars to traffic children to known prostitution. We're taking kids at the border and sending them to locations that we know are known prostitution centers.
What?
And the reasoning you're doing that is to bring.
Immigrants are coming in?
Yeah.
And then we're deporting them, or we're taking them to like
They
sanctuary
come
cities?
in, they've got numbers and addresses written on them.
Oh man,
And we call it and say, are you expecting this child? They say yes.
that's awful.
And we know that they're selling them into prostitution.
The penalty should.
And we buy
Dude,
them
the penalty
tickets
should
and
be
send
just
them
gun to the head right away.
knowing that
So are
we're
we
sending-
sending them to wherever's on their arm, or they're taking a bus and sending everyone to one place?
No, we're sending them to where it was written on their arm.
That's
What the why? What's well? Hold on though. What's why would there be things being written on their arms for?
Because
whoever sent them there,
the cartel is sending them up. They're selling them into these prostitution rings and sweatshops. And I asked the head of the union down there, I said, is it possible that we're sending these children into harm's way, that we're sending them into prostitution or sweatshops? And he said, oh, it's not possible. It's absolute for certain that we are. And I said, wait a minute. This is on camera.
This is a border agent?
Yeah. I said, you know, it's the head of the border agents union. I said, you know there's a camera right here, right? He said, yeah. I said, okay, you're telling me for certain we know we're sending them there? He said, yes. I said, how under any theory is it okay that we're using our tax dollars to send these innocent children into this known prostitution? And he said, well, you know, we're doing what we can. I said, why have you never talked about this? He said, well, nobody's ever asked me that specific question, and I'm grateful for you asking.
What the?
So the orders are coming from somewhere else then, or something. Is that
What's
like?
that?
So why is that? Why is he allowing that?
He doesn't have any choice.
Then who's the command of the orders coming from?
White House.
What the?
And I asked him, what do you need? And he said, we don't need more agents. We don't need more money. We don't need more laws. We just need to be allowed to enforce the ones that are on the books now.
That's crazy.
We don't need more money, agents, or laws.
Why are they not being allowed to do that currently?
Well, because they were all pulled back that they took office.
Is the border the worst it's ever been? Ever?
Statistically, yes.
So it's a party issue.
What's your fix for that? Do you think people are just not, like the general population is just not accepting kind of that we have to have a border?
Well, I'm very pro-immigration.
Yeah.
Look, we need immigrants in this country.
What's the difference between legal and illegal immigration?
I look at America as our home, right? And I think of it as my home. I wouldn't want somebody coming in my home if I didn't know who they were, if I didn't know what their intentions were. I mean, I want to know who's coming and why. And we don't. Between 2010 and 2020, we had like 1,100 Chinese come across the border. In 2023, the first 11 months, we had close to 30,000. Now, why? I think a lot of them are maybe coming to escape the oppressive government in China, and they want to come here where there's freedom. I think some of them who are military aged are being sent here by China, and we're processing them and letting them go, and we have no idea where they're going or what they're doing. I think we should know.
And we will know because you got that thing going on. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. You're bringing awareness to that.
We didn't even get into China.
Afghanistan's the big thing. It's like, what's going on over there? Nobody even talks about that anymore, but I'm not getting into that.
So we're talking, these are the kind of things we're talking about that other people aren't talking about, and we're talking about them through the eyes of the people being impacted by them.
Wow, I want to watch that border one. When's that come out?
It's this week.
Okay, I'm going to watch that for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
And they're buying up farmland, and they're buying it up around our military installations.
I just don't see what the point would. Why would our government allow that to happen? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well,
Are you ever scared
might
by?
just be
Are you ever
incompetence
scared
too,
about
right?
pushing that narrative might have any effect
yeah,
on
I don't know.
you know, because you're pushing a narrative that probably obviously works against the other side. Are you ever worried about that?
well,
Like just being sniped in the middle of your sleep or something like that?
it is controversial, and but you know, somebody's got to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
One of those somebodies is going to be me.
Do you believe that as much as people talk about it, like people that do push that narrative that goes against the other side, that bad things happen to them out of nowhere, and they disappear?
Well, that's a run-on sentence.
I don't have the best grammar.
I mean, that's two questions. It's like,
do
do I ever worry about it, and then do people disappear? I don't. I do worry about it.
I asked two-part questions.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to necessarily disappear.
Yeah.
But I do worry about it, and I'm cognizant of it, and I've had pushback because of it.
Where does the pushback come from? A call from a scary person?
You know, you get people.
I mean, when you're on a TV network, it's probably a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of pressure.
You have people that you know, hate on you on the internet. You have threats and stuff like that. But you deal with it. You're either controlled by that or you continue to do what you believe in. And I believe in this country, and I believe we need to talk about things that need to be talked about.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. So you just maintain security and move on.
So you don't answer your own DMs, or do you sometimes like
No, I actually think I love the fact that you're actually able to not be afraid to say what you feel. I think too many people are being these days, and it's a serious problem.
And,
why don't you take a
border
stand
shit's
for it then?
crazy.
What was your thing?
Yeah, the border needs to be under control. And like I say, I'm very pro-immigration. I just think we need to, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it.
Tighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
Every country needs a border, right?
Yeah. Or you're not a country.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah, if you don't have a border, you're not a country.
Yeah.
You're just a hallway.
Yeah.
That was what my old girlfriend was there.
my
Okay, I'm joking.
That's a whole other 3-hour topic.
analysis of this?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Can we end it off?
Yeah, can you give
Thank
us
you
all
so
an
much.
analysis?
Dr. Phil and I are good. Don't worry about it. Relax. We're going out tonight. Me and Dr. Phil are going out tonight in Bottle Blonde or whatever it is.
Let him finish
in
with
Dallas.
the final.
We're going to go do some bottles.
It's a Monday, bro.
Let him finish with the final
Do
assessment.
you ever read at this point?
Yeah.
After spending time with us on.
Please.
He's
like, oh,
he's
yeah.
not Dumbledore.
Neither are you.
Actually, I was earlier. I got method.
I think you're a very willing spirit to have worn this.
No, I just honor my bets. That's it.
No, that's what
honor
I
my
mean.
bets. So it sucks, but the thing is this: I got to talk to you real quick about it. Truthfully, do you know Daniel Radcliffe?
No.
So I've been trying to get Daniel Radcliffe low key stalking that guy, but the problem is I've been calling him Harry Potter the whole time. So I've been calling his publicists, all his guys, and they've seen it, and they're like, "Well, first of all, he does not appreciate you calling him Harry Potter. He's Daniel
Maybe you
Radcliffe."
should say sorry and start with that. Say sorry to him, and then maybe.
I'm not saying anything to Daniel Radcliffe right now.
Okay.
I'm not saying anything because he's been disrespectful. And I tell you what, I know he's got a little show coming up in on Broadway.
You might just pull up to
Let's
that.
just say that show will be boycotted so fast unless he comes in there. All right? That show will.
Down to
like-
pull up
seeing
to
that.
it.
Yeah.
When is it?
Actually, having Dr. Phil come with me would be like low key. I think if Dr. Phil
don't
sit
think
next to
he's
me at
going with
Radcliffe's
you,
show,
bud.
What are the
I
odds
might
of
be able to
that?
get Dr. Phil. Can you make one call to Daniel Radcliffe for me? Because
I
I'm
think-
using everybody.
I think
I'm
if-
going through my CIA guys. I'm going through my government guys. I'm trying to scare this guy. I'm getting him audited by the IRS. I'm doing everything I can to get him. He ain't budging.
I think if Bob sells 100,000 copies of your book, then you got to go to the
Yeah,
Broadway show. with him.
I'll do that in 24 hours.
Yeah. Would it help if he zoomed in? Would that?
Oh,
Would that work?
No.
Zoom
He
call.
think-
How does a
listen,
Zoom call
ever since
qualify?
Harry Potter, this guy thinks he's this big deal. But
It's a big deal.
no, I know he is. I'll be at every show in New York City. All right, every Broadway show, front row and center, and buying backstage passes.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, Daniel. These are good-spirited guys. They're just here. They're just here to have fun, and obviously you're important to them. So maybe you can throw them a bone.
Thank you.
Let's go.
well, that's
Dr.
awesome.
Phil.
was
Maybe you
Legend,
can throw
thank
them a
you so
bone.
much.
I can tell you, I enjoyed it and had a great time. I think you would too.
I think that might
Thank
just
you.
get it
Dr.
done.
Phil.
Huge endorsement.
Dr. Phil, thank you
That's
so much,
unbelievable.
man. That was awesome.
Great talk, Doc. That was amazing.
Thank you. It was crazier than I thought.
Yeah. That was. It up. I was like, whoa.